Born on August 10, 1971, Roy Maurice Keane is an Irish football analyst, former professional player, and coach. Having won 19 major trophies in his club career, 17 of which came when he was a player from the English side of Manchester United, he is the joint most successful Irish footballer of all time. He is regarded as one of the finest midfielders of his period, and in 2004, Pelé included him in the FIFA 100 list of the greatest players of all time. He was rated number 11 on the Times list of the 50 hardest football players in history in 2007. He was well known for his brazen and tough attitude. In 2021, he was admitted to the Premier League Hall of Fame. He was ferocious and cruel, and some even viewed him as a bully. There are differing views among football superstars on Roy Keane, despite the fact that he won several Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups, and the Champions League during his 12-year tenure at Old Trafford. We have thus made the decision to combine the good, the terrible, and the ugly. A video clip of Keane allegedly cursing at Ronaldo after the young player squandered a chance in front of a goal went viral during the 2004-2005 season, shortly after the young Cristiano joined Manchester United. Ronaldo has maintained that Keane assisted him when he was a member of the team, despite the fact that many thought Keane's treatment was far too severe. Ronaldo referred to Keane as his best captain ever in a continuous interview with Piers Morgan. However, another player believes that if Keane were in the dressing room, the present Old Trafford players would not be able to survive. At a gathering at the Manchester Piccadilly Hotel earlier this year, the former manager of Manchester United expressed some of his ideas to the crowd. He discussed the difficulties he had as a manager and gave careful thought to the experience of sharing a dressing room with legendary players such as Keane. O labeled the current group of players snowflakes and likened them to the previous generation, saying that they would have collapsed under the strain of playing alongside Sir Alex Ferguson and Roy Keane. After a loss, if you shake the guys, Solskjaer said, they will weep to their parents, mothers, or agents. What do you think about the present generation's perceived lack of toughness compared to previous generations? Roy Keane was not thrilled by Guardiola's conversation with Erling Haaland following the city's 3-0 run of Manchester United at Old Trafford. He asserted that Guardiola was entertaining the cameras and that players should be allowed to celebrate their victories, negating the necessity for on-field coaching. Guardiola refuted Keane's assertion, saying that he frequently wishes to convey his message while it's still relevant. Guardiola continued by expressing his deep regard for Keane. It's no small accomplishment. We assure you to gain the respect of a coach like Pep, but you know what's even better? Being complimented by people that you have really played with. Tim Howard, a former custodian for Manchester United, claimed that Roy Keane had the biggest impact on his career. Though he was afraid of Keane at the time, Howard recently admitted on the Excellent United podcast that he believed Keane to be the most intelligent and composed player on the pitch. I didn't necessarily appreciate it at the time, but over the course of my 20-year career, I never met anyone who had the same ability to influence games, stated Howard. Dennis Irwin, a veteran player for United and a fellow Corkonian, stated to 442 that Roy Keane was the greatest player that he'd ever played alongside. He said that while Paul Scholes was an incredible football player and he and Keane had a great combination with Giggs and Beckham ahead of them, Keane was the dominant man in the early games, and he liked that. However, another believes that Keane's reputation has been ruined. Wes Brown, who played with Roy Keane for 8 years at Old Trafford, is adamant that the public image of Keane isn't the truth. There is more to Keane's character in Brown's opinion. Keane was scary when I was a kid, he said. He desired perfection, even though nobody could be flawless. What people fail to realize is that Roy would always let you know when you're playing at your best. Contrary to popular belief, he wouldn't only be yelling at you when you did anything wrong. He was an excellent skipper who met all of our needs. Brown said in closing that Keane was quite personable and had no issues if you approached him for a conversation. Let us now shift our focus to the management aspect of the matter. Few people are aware that Roy Keane's old Ireland teammate, Neil Quinn, was the first to offer him a shot at management. Quinn led the group that acquired Sunderland in 2006, and he said Keane showed him appreciation by accomplishing the almost impossible, promoting him within months of his arrival. Quinn stated to the Irish Times in 2019 that Roy came and everything was glorious. He went on to say that Keane not only introduced Manchester United into the locker room, but also instilled a winning mindset at Sunderland. He inspired everyone to be the greatest versions of themselves, to believe in themselves, and to perform at the highest level. Some of Keane's teammates said at the time they felt nearly invincible. But allow me to pose this question to you all. Should Keane stay in the dugout or continue as a pundit? In my opinion, he needs to try again in a management capacity. Few fans recognize Henderson as a Sunderland youth player until we learned that he was leading Liverpool to Premier League and Champions League crowns. Henderson claims that Keane was the first to see his potential, despite the fact that Steve Bruce was responsible for his breakthrough at the team. When Henderson was younger, Keane asked him if he thought that he was good enough to play for the first team. When Henderson answered yes, he later received a phone call informing him that he was part of the first team roster for a preseason game at the Stadium of Light. Henderson shared this story with Jamie Carragher on the Greatest Game podcast. Henderson claims that's where it all began, and he is undoubtedly grateful to the Irishman for that. A string of lackluster games and forgettable defeats have raised a lot of questions about the Red Devils' boss. Because of this, Roy Keane and Carragher have questioned Ten Hag's role in the dugout, saying that even after more than a year of leadership, they haven't seen a distinct style of play. Ten Hag, however, has responded, saying that Keane's remarks were a bit too harsh, and that while he acknowledges that his players need to follow his instructions more closely, his goals for the team are still very much the same. Time will tell. Do you believe that this is the beginning of the end for Ten Hag, or do you think that he can save his position in the upcoming months? But going back to Keane, what is the opinion of one of his fiercest opponents? Although things have improved since their retirement, there are still some difficulties between the legendary players of Arsenal and Manchester United. The relationship was tense on the pitch during their careers. At the training facility of Crystal Palace, Vieira, the manager at the time, was once shown Keane's shirt, and he brashly declined to touch it. Nevertheless, he conveyed his respect for the Irishman. "I love the way he was on the pitch. It was massive respect," Vieira said. As the team captain and leader, he was the one pushing the group of players to perform at his level and setting the challenges for them. However, Vieira said that he was far superior to Keane when asked who was the greater player. When the two went to an ice cream store together, fans were taken aback. After working with Keane on TV, Vieira had acknowledged that he likes him a lot and even considers him to be a funny guy. Keane has quickly returned the favor. One final thing though, Vieira couldn't help but declare that he would defeat Keane in a battle, even if it meant taking a beating. Now, let's hear it from another modernist though. Steven Gerrard has often said that he would have liked to play alongside the Irish superstar Roy Keane, and that he's always been an admirer of Keane. The legend of Liverpool feels that if Keane would have been allowed to play more forward and provide cover and defense, they would have been an incredible team. Additionally, Keane's consistency was something that his age as a whole was well aware of, said Gerrard. Even if Keane seems contentious, it's very obvious at this moment that most legends have nothing but good things to say about him. At least when it comes to football, people consider him to be one of the greatest midfielders in history and a real icon of the game. It's reasonable to say that he left a lasting legacy. But that's all guys, what do you guys think about Roy Keane? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below.